All right. Let's see. Am I live? Hello, hello, hello. Okay. That looks good, I guess. Obsidian button alert box should be on top. I guess this video I got a better video than this now. Browse. And where did I put you? Guess I should put you there now, shouldn't I? Oh, hello. How are you doing? Yeah, I remember you, Sarah. It's been a while. 1 second. Trying to do something. What am I doing? EFG. That's what I'm looking for. That's awesome. That's different video. New video. Let's see. There. I remember seeing your username, but I can't remember anything about you. Where are you? Where are you physically located? Oh, Steven, right. I remember. Their initials. Get out of here. Better? I forgot that the video that I just put up has sound, so I had to turn that off. And let's see. Yeah. So I guess I'll give people a little bit of time to show up, because I am... Was I gonna do anything? Oh. Hello, Edon. Thank you for showing up. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while since I've... Because I did Twitch streaming, some months ago, and then I made a Reddit post and it got some attention, and then I, went through a period of a lot of people joining the stream, and then I dropped it for 6 months and came back kind of on the down low. And it's been nice to have people coming back. Beef Sandow. Hello, Beef Sandow. Welcome to the stream. You look like an unfamiliar name. Glad you're here. What am I doing now? Oh, I am going to set up a whiteboard app. Actually, I'm going to put on some of my favorite music. Thanks, Edon. Oh, actually, what is the situation? I should update some links on the actual the Twitch guy. Let's see. You don't need to have all that. Oh, hi, Trento. We got a bunch of humans on the stream. We got at least 2. Nade, whoever that is. Hi. Welcome. I'm going to look at myself on Twitch so I can see, because I don't remember how this actually looks. And this also is a good opportunity. I guess you guys will probably also... Do you see the lag there? So 1, 1,000, 2, and... No, okay, that's not going to help. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. About 4 seconds of lag for me on this end. Let's see. So let's see. Twitter, that's good. Google Scholar. We can do better than Google Scholar. Audience is everyone. Oh wait, no, not that. Report John Mathis. Oh, 19 people are here. Hello, 19 people. Oh, and 130 followers. That's 30 more since last time. So I cat tracking imminent. Beef Sandow. Welcome. Actually, so cat tracking is actually on the table. Um, Although there's no cats on the table. Oh, Flames Rocks. Hello, Flames Rocks. But actually, the same mechanisms I used uh, to track the juggling board and the oh Daiko slime. That's a charming and maybe slightly gross use. I don't know. I don't know what Daiko is, but that's good. Hello, welcome. Um, but actually, yeah, the deep lab cut, which I use to track the juggling balls and the wobble board, is primarily designed to track animals for researchers. So, and they actually have pre-trained cat models. So there's actually all the tools are on the table to actually do cat tracking, and I have two cats. One of them is a black cat, so very hard to like record, but also maybe like a good test. Um, how do I do this? What do I do here? I'm not gonna do this right now. I'll do this later. Kaiser Baldo, welcome. I'm also Baldo. Yeah, I think it's kind of... Ah, and you stumbled right into my actual plant. I also live walking distance from a zoo that has, among other things, gorillas. I really want to mocap some gorillas. I don't have any like scientific reason to do that. I just really want to do it. There's a lot of steps between now and there, but like there is a path. Um, so I guess it's 12:12. I'm gonna keep setting stuff up. I don't know if so. What I want to do in this stream is come up with some kind of doggos. Doggos on the table. Cats are more likely to get on a table than a doggo. Yes, Trento has all the tools required to do doggo tracking. Um, let's see. But yeah, hi, real Chris Schnabel, Chris Schnabel. Hello. I'm glad you're here and that you're real. That's great for you. Um, Thanks for joining in this fun adventure into whatever it is that we're doing. But yeah, so I did this whole thing. I made this Reddit post or whatever, and this Twitter post, which I guess, is that all I did? I think that's all I did. I don't know. And now there's all these people, including Sergio De La Garza is here, which is great. I'm so excited for that. And you can do GitHub. Juggle balls do indeed go vroom. I mean, they go vroom, 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 vroom. Thanks. We are just getting started. GitHub, John Mathis. Free mocap. Oh my god. Lazy Vanguard. Oh yeah? Italian names? I guess so. Sergio, yeah. A lot of people from a lot of places. It's an international thing. One of my first Twitch streams, I got called out for assuming everyone was American and then realizing that like nobody in the chat was actually American, which is actually awesome because that's like, you know, like good. What was I saying? Look at that, 500 stars? There were 6 yesterday. 6. Now there's 500. I don't really know what a GitHub star even does, but numbers go up, and that's good. Yeah, people do love free mocap. It's that was kind of also like a revelation for me, is that like that is a thing. Like I just sort of I never really put 2 and 2 together, and like I was like, because I was getting into Blender, and as I was getting into Blender, I was like looking, like finding all sorts of tutorials about like, you know, modeling and sculpting and, you know, lighting and whatever, and I wasn't finding any tutorials about like how to process motion capture, and I was like, well, that's really weird because like it seems like a really good use. Yes, I do have a link to the GitHub for easy access. Thank you, Steven. I don't want to be famous by followers, primes, and viewers. Trento, you can destroy these bots, right? You should do that. But yeah, and it was kind of like sort of during the pandemic when I realized, because of, yeah, I think you just like, banhammer. But there was a guy named Royal Skies who is a nice. Yeah, in fact, I'm actually it's a little too much attention. So maybe a bot can like offer to like calm the world down. It says you're real right in your name, so I believe you. I mean, you can't. Well, you just like go on. Can you imagine if bots learned how to append the word "real" to the front of their username? Ooh, I pook, I pooch, I pooch, I pooch. Welcome. Thank you for doing that. For ding-a-ling-ing the bell or whatever it is that you do. 24 people are here. That's cool. Hi, 24 people. At least that's what the number says on my end. I don't know. I never really trust those numbers. I know, right? You got Zeka here. OG holding it down from day one. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody here. Yeah, thank you. It's oh, and it's Glitch Robot. And you want sample data, which is a great thing to want. I don't need to these don't need to be in the background. You guys can think that I don't leave cans of empty seltzer everywhere. That's part of the magic of the internet, is believing that I don't do that. What am I doing? Oh, I also wanted to show this. Check this out. If you go to johnmathis.com, that's me. There's a whole website. Yeah, I got much better at juggling over the past year. Let me tell you that right now. It turns out when you're when you're stuck inside for a year and change, you sort of learn how to juggle. I guess is how that works. I learned how to juggle a long time ago. When I was like, I think I remember doing it for the first time in high school. Yeah, it's actually you have this. The motivation behind the animation is that there's something for everyone in there, right? It's a bit of shock and awe, and it's sort of designed to kind of be a little overwhelming, to sort of like, I don't know where to look when I'm watching this kind of thing. Yeah, it's actually the juggling aspect of this has been kind of an interesting evolution, because it is the system as it currently is set up is kind of well suited for juggling, because like juggling, you're standing in one location, you're dealing with like brightly colored spheres, which are relatively easy to track. Yes. And also like it's a perceptual motor task that pretty much anyone can learn how to do. Not everybody, obviously, just say people with disabilities exist. But like most people can learn how to juggle with a little bit of effort. So part of this sort of some point of this project is like training people in juggling while being mocapped to get that. And actually this animation was sort of really the first time I had seen like the trace, like the line plots of the juggling balls, and realizing things like that. There are things like stats that I knew that there would be, but I hadn't actually looked at them. So like, one thing I noticed is like, so you could you could just look for like similarities, peak to peak variability, and like the top view, this one's cool, sort of like you can see how like the ball kind of matches the speed of the hand, and then when it releases, it sort of travels along a straight trajectory, because that's physics, baby. And I haven't the vertical plot would be a great sort of test of the accuracy of the system, like because it should come out that those curves are ballistic curves with 9.8 meters per second squared down. Realistically, the 3D data that you're looking at is actually like rotated in some random direction because it's currently still in the reference frame of the camera. The camera just happens to be oriented up and down, but it's actually, if you actually look closely at the data, so for example, yeah, this guy. So this is showing, this was just some scratch stuff I was doing for that, and you can see like the red and blue. So you're talking about this guy? Oh, hey, what's up? Postdocs. I'm a professor of neuroscience. Trento's a postdoc. Academia. It's weird here. Yeah, so this friendly fellow is called the Charuco board. Charuco meaning Charuco. So the markers are called Aruco markers, and then the chessboard is, this is not a chessboard because it's a freaking rectangle, but it's a checkerboard pattern, is used to calibrate the cameras, and then the Aruco markers just make it easier to sort of know which square is which. And they are important for calibrating the cameras to be able to do the 3D reconstruction. They are not a part of the two-dimensional tracking per camera. But they are a part of the sort of letting the cameras localize each other with any, like, camera A knows where it is relative to camera B, which is necessary to be able to do the triangulation to get the actual 3D reconstruction. At the moment, we are using AnyPose, which is a software to basically do camera calibration based off a Charuco board. What was I saying? And it works really well. It is sort of like getting. Oh, I see. Well, that's what you meant when you said you did your Charuco board homework. As you will notice, getting that board is the most annoying part of this process right now. Like, you can go buy cameras all day, assuming you can get appropriate cameras and a computer to hook them up to. That's all there. But getting a board printed out is actually kind of a pain, especially when getting printed out that big. But it does work. It is accurate. So the kind of part of the vibe of this project, sort of now and going forward, is to sort of focus on, up until this point has been just like get something that works and sort of note the parts that are annoying and difficult, sort of like tag them for future work. I think that there are plenty of options out there to do reconstruction of the camera positions without the Charuco board. Which would make it which would just make it easier in a lot of ways. Okay, several questions. Stovey JG. Do you need a board or can you use a calibration wand or something? At the moment, we don't have any method for doing a wand. There's like a system out there called like Easy Wand, which I think uses like LEDs or something like that you could implement in this. This whole project is sort of designed to be like modular. So like there's a module that does AnyPose Charuco based camera calibration, but if you could swap that out with something else, as long as it produces camera projection matrices, then it should be able to get slotted in. At the moment, the only thing that's implemented is Charuco board. Cookie flips will get to you in 1 second. Nade. I know, right? I'll sort of rail this in and sort of do up the actual plan, but I'll answer questions for now. First of all, with your commenting of an A3, you have identified yourself as probably a European person, and that's great. I love the A system for paper sizing. I think is so clever. But in America, it's 8.5 by 11 for some dumb reason. Yes, you could actually use just sort of like a standard printer version of it. This version is sort of, this is like easy to the current system is sort of set up that it takes the first 2 seconds of the video looks for the Chiruko board and does the calibration. But AnyPose is actually set up just fine to like start a recording and kind of just like show the cameras the board, as long as it could as long as there's like, you know, there's sort of like there's overlapping fields of view that can see the same board on the same frame. You can do the reconstruction, so it actually wouldn't be hard. See, I'm learning stuff from Twitch every day. Q10 and F4. It's all very, I don't know, efficient. Code Guido is here to learn about paper size naming conventions, and we are happy to have them. But yeah, it actually wouldn't be too hard to adapt. Cookie Flips also big in on numbers. Cookie Flips is actually here dropping paper facts, so stick around. You'll learn all sorts of letters and many numbers. You'll be able to categorize paper all day. But yeah, it actually wouldn't be too hard. We could to make a version of this that would work with just a paper printout, with just like a little bit of a different process. Like as long as the cameras don't move between calibration and recording, then there's no reason why they need to happen all at once. That's a good thought, which I should put on the roadmap that we should talk about nowish. Because let me tell y'all, this is intimidating. That's a lot of people. Not to mention, you want to see another thing that's intimidating? This is the Discord server. This is very intimidating. Look at all these people who are like, wow, I want to work. I like what you're doing. Let's work together. And I say, okay, we'll try. I have never managed a project like this. I have never worked in an open source setting like this, and I'm going to do my very best. Because yeah, we're going to think on our feet here. I'm really happy y'all are here and interested, so let's figure it out. So basically, ooh. That's cool. Very cool, Johnny the Carrot. Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's very gratifying to see like the response that I've been getting, that we've been getting, I guess, because I'm not working in a vacuum here. But that you know, people are interested in the work that's being done, and they want to be a part of it, and they want more of it. I am a legend. That's me. I don't know, man. You might be. I don't know. Cool. Thanks, Stowy JG. Glad you could make it here. Yeah, biomechanics. That's good stuff. I consider myself more neuroscience than biomechanics, but I study human movement, so biomechanics are obviously a part of that. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways. Focus. I think I'm going to be, what's the word? Smart. And work on an actual document here. And let's see. It's going to work. This is Obsidian. 1 second, Cookie Flips. Let's see, let's actually do this. We say open fault for mocap. There we go. You get that. This is me scratching out the post. Then I say Can I name you 2021-07-22-Twitch stream free mocap road map. Boom. Work in 3D animation for games that I'm interested. Play skeletal rigs. when are we going to see this in Blender Maya 3ds Max? These are the questions. These are good questions. The answer is hopefully soon. So, because basically what's happened, here's a cool thing that happens with this project, and I love it. And it happens, over the course of the past year or whatever, I show this to people. And what happens is when I show someone this and I say, hey, look, here's this thing. It's a question that we get a lot. Because what happens when you show someone a free motion capture system is they look at it and then they say something. And they say, oh, I really want to use that for blank. Because everybody has some reason why they want to record a human moving. Turns out we are moving. Hey, oh yeah, how you doing, Mycon? Mycon Zeka. Yeah, it's, one second, naughty. Nade? I don't know. It's so what's been happening in this release is a lot of different people from, at this point the numbers are getting high enough that they're starting to overlap, but people from different communities are saying, oh, we want this, can you do this, can it do that, what's about this, can we do this thing, which is great. And so, but the problem is that there's limited humans, and we can only work life is hard. I will choose at runtime what to call you. Nade. I like Nade. Nade. I like them both. But yeah, so so Mycon I believe is 3ds Max, if I recall correctly, making a video game of some kind. Can't recall the details. And then Cookie Flips. So the animation side of this thing, right? That's a big community. It's like, oh, we want to use this. Independent game developers, that's a whole crew that wants this, because because again, one of the things I sort of realized about the motion capture stuff is there's really not good options out there for cheap motion capture. Sort of the best you got is Kinect, and that's both kind of a unsupported, kind of dead proprietary hardware based solution. Anyway, so you got your animators who want to animate, and so a lot of that. Actually, let's start writing this out, because that's gonna be. Can I make it bigger? Yeah. Okay, so there's communities of potential free mocap users. Can make some tags here. Let's say, what do we call this? Roadmap. And then we can do this. And look at all this stuff. There we go. Cool. The hovel. Keep that in mind. Is this based on the work? Two's Gloom's Day. Hello and welcome. We're currently not using anything made by Facebook. It's mostly a combination of OpenPose is doing the human tracking, and then DLC is doing everything else tracking. But sort of, again, part of the vibe of this project is building it in such a way that it's easy to attach. It's made to have other sort of softwares kind of sort of slide it in, because these new markerless motion tracking systems come out all the time, and I don't even know a fraction of them. So the code that was written is sort of designed to be very kind of explicit. Where's the thing? Flowchart. Ha. This is roughly speaking how the code works. Robot Boy 987 loves flowcharts, especially when they are done with this mermaid stuff in Obsidian. I love this. I love Obsidian, by the way. It's a markdown editor thing. Anyways, so the code is sort of designed. Everyone loves flowcharts. It's true. Everyone that doesn't work in a corporate setting loves flowcharts. Robot boy might mean some kind of clinical environment, if I were to guess, or maybe robotics, based on the username. But anyway, so the point is that we've sort of tried to build the software focused on like the sort of the core mechanics and like the geometry. So like you're gonna need to record videos either like synchronously, like at runtime with websites. Ooh, cool. Exosuits. Is that what we're calling exoskeletons these days? Because exoskeletons are, I know some of those people, but I don't really work in that field. Cool. I feel like exoskeletons, exosuits. I guess is that like soft? Like exo, is that the differentiation? Is that exosuit is a soft exoskeleton? Uh, anyway, I'm sure that's a whole question. But yeah, so it's kind of set up that like you like right now, like you got to record the videos. It's either they got to be synchronized in some way, and then once they're synchronized, that's true. Two's Gloomsdays knows what spiders are. Listen, they're it's truth. You have to calibrate. You have to track the images. And this is we're using OpenPose, Deep Lab Cut. There's Media Pipe. There's Alpha Pose. There's a million of these. And they could just kind of be slotted out. And it's set up that like at some point they're gonna read in videos and they're gonna output pixel locations. So we just try to build wrappers for these tools that feeds them, like we give them the videos that we have synchronized, feed it to them in whatever format they want, take whatever they output, restructure it so it works with the latter stuff we do, and then you're off to the races. So it's sort of designed right now. It just pretty much only works with OpenPose and Deep Lab Cut, a little bit of Media Pipe, but it's designed to be extensible for whatever new software comes out anytime down the road. Because I don't actually want to, like, I'm not doing any, there's actually, like, no computation going on here. Like, I am not, like, there is, but I didn't do any of it. We didn't build, literally, it's just, like, duct tape framework user interface. Because there's people out there doing, the really intense sort of scientific computer science technology to do the tracking. And I don't know how to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to let them do it. One second, Hubble. So I'm just really trying to build systems that make that high technology that's coming, that like the advances that are happening in the computer science, computer vision, machine learning fields, like accessible and usable for people who are not, don't have like PhDs in computer science and whatnot. No, it's super right now. This is a super post processed, super computationally expensive. But what I'm saying is that like I did not design any of like the heavy lifting, going dance, yeah, dance, and dance. Actually, they claim to. I think they train on multiple cameras to reconstruct 3D directly. So I would like to incorporate them at some point. The problem with all these things is that they have these like GitHubs. And mine's not like perfect. Mine's actually pretty sloppy too. But like, they're not like particularly accessible. So, again, this software is also currently in that state of like, there's a GitHub link and like, good luck. But it's a work in progress. Havel says, "Do the cameras have to be particular same make and model? Is just helpful?" They don't. I've actually never tried it. Actually, I guess I have tried it with multiple models, and it seemed to work fine as long as the cameras can be accessed by OpenCV, and they are UVC compliant, which whatever that means. And I think almost most cameras you're going to find are that. It should work, and as long as they can record in the same sort of format, meaning resolution in frames per second. Actually, I don't even know. I think it will freak out if I don't know. If you, I don't really know. I haven't tested that, but I have tested like sort of slightly different versions of webcams, and as long as they can record, like right now these are recording like Alice Vision is also very offline. Yeah. Um, uh, which one's what you're wondering, Havel? Ah, um, actually, I'm curious what your how it would react to a Connect. Um, the FPS differences would wind up being an issue because the way this is currently set up is there's a synchronization step that takes the videos that you put into the raw videos folder, and sort of remakes them based off of timestamps that were recorded at real time and runtime. For the USB camera, the GoPro version does something different and syncs them up so that in the synced videos folder, there are N cameras, where N is the number of cameras, and each of those videos have the same number of frames. UPC is the standard for USB camera. There you go. That makes sense. So if they're different frames per second, different FPSs, the videos, the current version will freak out, I think, and it will do something. It'll probably just put a bunch of like buffer frames in between the slower version. I don't know. Like, again, these are kind of things that kind of can be, right now we have like one use case, but it's built and designed in such a way that we want to be able to make this extensible and sort of usable in a bunch of different environments and settings, which is challenging, but we'll get there. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, so the balls and wobble board are being tracked by Deep Lab Cut. You don't have to juggle, but it is cool if you learn how to juggle. So Deep Lab Cut is basically a tool that allows you to like train your own neural network. It's a very cool software designed mostly for tracking animals. So what happens to Deep Lab Cut is you train a model to track a particular set of things. So I would train it to track, it's a red, a green, and a pink ball, and then the wobble board with 5 points on it, and then 2 points on the wheel. And so I use Deep Lab Cut to train a specialized network to track those objects, and then in the reconstruction, it just invokes that Deep Lab Cut model to track the juggling balls on each of the 4 videos, and those get reconstructed on the basis of the Chiruko board any pose based calibration. So it's that's kind of why Deep Lab Cut was a part of this first process. There's other ways to track things like brightly colored spheres. We probably could have done it, but Deep Lab Cut works really well, and also the fact that it is integrated into the system means that you can really track anything at this point. Like you just need to train a Deep Lab Cut network to track it, and you can reconstruct it in 3D. That's why, like, when someone mentioned like cats, it's like I can track cats because I've got, you can just train Deep Lab Cut. I could train Deep Lab Cut to track this thing, and then reconstruct that. You just need to train the model. Mill's mess space captcha. I love it. We can get there. That's like a nice, that's a shibboleth. It's like for circus people only. Skaterboard. Yo, they just built like a new, there was a new skate park outside of my house that's like beautiful. It's like concrete, bowl half pipes and features, and it's just like, am I gonna go out there and wreck myself on a skate park in my mid to late 30s? And the answer is probably. I actually have French fries in the other room. I ate them for lunch, but I did buy them from a real store. So let's talk plans. It has been, so I got to go at 4. So for Eastern U.S. time, for those of you from around the globe. Health, yes. I'm really bad at Mill's mess. I've tried it. 3:45. Wow. 3:45 a.m. You must be far. You're Cookie Flips. You're off somewhere. You're in Asia somewhere, huh? Wow, people are all over. I'll get there. Ah, Two's Gloomsdays. Two's Gloomsdays. Is a juggle friend. Hello. See, we got all sorts of folks around. It attracts all kinds. Um, the half. Thank you. I know I can. It's one that I like it so much because it looks so weird, but I just never put the time in to learn it. Same with 4-ball. It's I could at this point I could definitely be juggling 4 balls. It's I throw them up and they fall. I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I hope that you get some sleep. Juggle comp sci. MIT has a very old and venerable juggling club that is shut down for the pandemic, but I'm guessing they're going to reopen pretty soon. I don't know, juggling and math and computer and computation have always been friends, and now here they are. Okay, so here's I want to do some road mapping so that Cookie Flips can get some sleep. What's after raw data on the flowchart? Good question. I'll mention this quickly and then I'll go. Let's see, Claude Shannon. Oh, is that cool? I didn't know that. Did I know that? That's cool. Claude Shannon, for those of you who don't know, is the progenitor of information theory, and arguably one of the sort of progenitors of computer science and computation. And I did not know that they were a weirdo juggle person too. Good for them. Komomomo is here for the information theory history, and the Claude Shannon Stan Club that we all are here. Thank you for joining. So I consider the data that you're looking at above me to be more or less raw. It is actually smoothed, which I did sort of last minute. Trailing underscores. The next step from here, however, the rawness of this data is the fact that basically every point that you're looking at is tracked independently. There's no sense. That's why it's able to explode and wibble and wobble, is because there's no sense that my arm doesn't change length. So I think basically some form of inverse kinematics to fit an anatomically constrained. I'm missing a thing. Anyways, so using some sort of inverse kinematics, what's it called? Fabric is one that I've learned to fit anatomic, to take this data above and use it to fit a skeleton that has anatomical constraints and joint limits and whatnot. I think will allow us to get more accurate and more stable tracks that are more robust to things like occlusions and whatnot like that. But that's we are currently here-ish on the process, and then anatomically constrained. That's coming up. There's actually a branch. Some animator friend of mine has submitted a pull request that is organizing the data into a format that will be better suited for this. Also better suited for animators, for those listening, and then adding eye tracking data in there. That's coming. That's coming. So big roadmap. A lot of things planned. Let's talk about the things that we're planning. So let's talk about communities. So these are sort of different people. Good question, Lazy Vanguard. The best thing you could do right now, because right now they're actually so John Mathis .com/free mocap. If you go there, free mocap. This is it's a really pretty website that I'm really happy with. I also love this logo. Look at this logo. Look how good he is. Look how good he is. He's so happy to be here. Also, look at my brother. This is him. Oh, this is him doing his thing. Right? Isn't it? It's so good. I'm so happy with it. I had like my brother's girlfriend partner, my brother's partner, I don't know, is a designer person, and she is in fact a professional. And I paid her money to design this website and this logo and do the branding and the colors and all that, and it shows. It turns out professional artists know what they're doing. Yes, we should. Actually, I want to give her a lot of credit in a lot of places. I think that she's used to dealing with like your corpo types, and I think that designing's actually kind of a weird thing, because like designers often don't get to like take credit for the work that they do, or at least not like at the place that the art that they're making is actually appreciated. So I told her to put something on here saying like designed by Taylor Davis, or in link to like her relevant sort of thing. Oh, really? Which image? Oh, that link. Oh, because it's doing a redirect, probably. This one would be happier. Hey, Summer Sauce. Because John Mathis /free mocap redirects to fmc.html. So that's probably why Firefox is upset. If it's upset with that one, that's good to know, though. I'll run that by my web security person, otherwise known as my brother, to see if we can deal with that. Cool. John Mathis /free mocap. We want that one to work, though, because that's more memorable. Anyways, so on here, again, there's work to come here, right? The documentation links to nothing. The white paper links to something that's not really a white paper. It's just a one-page PDF. But I do like it. It was an abstract that kind of explains part of the vibe. Discord and Twitch. And then these are sort of the instructions on how to get it set up. Because I want to be as aggressively open source as possible is why I chose the AGPL. There's so many people out there. Great. Yeah, CUDA's a pain. A lot of stuff is a pain. Aggressively open source. At the moment, you'll need NVIDIA, but we'll be expanding again in the fullness of time. Like right now, it's kind of hard to use realistically at the moment. It's as easy as we could get it, but it's hard to make things usable. That's why most things are not usable. It's like it's hard to make stuff, and it's really hard to make it like usable by other people. So it is a work in progress. But I'm doing so. Like I just feel like there's so many people out there trying to make a buck off of human tracking. I just discovered that OpenPose is free for like academic use, but for commercial use they charge like $25,000 for a license. There's all sorts of markerless systems out there that cost thousands of dollars, and like a lot of people who are out there making markerless systems are kind of doing it from the perspective of like, I don't know, everyone's out there trying to make a buck. So I want to make it like a really aggressively open source. It's called free mocap. NVIDIA. And it's all like a lot of this is absolutely based off the Blender model. Like Blender has been so like I see them and I'm like, this is the model. This is the way we like this is how we should be doing science. And like we don't do it like this. We do it in this other weird way. So like Blender has been very inspirational for me. It's aspirational, and attaching this to Blender is sort of a core component of the plan. Um, because yeah, like the story I didn't finish before. Um, I was looking for tutorials on how to mm, yeah, it's just and I want to make it very clear to people coming in that like I like a lot of like these sort of like a lot of technologies that I see. It's kind of like I always kind of see something and it's kind of like it sniffs to me like they're being open source unless someone offers to buy them out, in which case, at which point they're secretly angled to get bought out, and this is not that. Um, and also like new open source is not enough. So GPL license. It does have a GPL license. Yeah, why open source like this? This is a really interesting Unity integration. Absolutely. This article wound up being kind of it sort of this is what shifted me, radicalized me in terms of like free the free software, not open source software. Open source also free, but free software is sort of more aggressive than open source only. Unity. Okay, focus. I say to myself. New art. Oh, look at that. Okay. I mean, you could say whatever you want. You can say faucet if you want. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's like the GPL is the sort of like it's like the viral thing. Um, Again, kind of part of the vibe. Because again, I just think there's so many people out there trying to make a buck off of tracking humans and like face tracking and like all everything. Everyone's out there trying to make money off of it, and like I just don't want to do that. Like it's not. I want to do not that. Um, I used to play Overwatch. It's been a while. Um, Getting on the animation. Someone's clicking around the website. Isn't it a cool website? I'm so proud of it. I didn't do anything with it. I'm so proud that I asked someone who knows what they're doing to make it. Was I don't know. Isn't it nice? Money to go. We'll go there. Um, okay. I have played with depth cameras. I have played with Z Stereo. I have played with Intel RealSense. I have played with making my own by just putting two cameras next to each other. And yes, 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 on the roadmap. Put it on the roadmap. Talk about okay, communities. Okay, I am going to. I'm going to try. Right? OpenPose would not be able to track him because OpenPose freaks out and people go upside down. MediaPipe would, but yeah, this is actually also. I swear to God, I'm going to focus for 1 second in my life. Um, but historically, this project is actually kind of built like so. Like 5 years ago, I made this animation on just posted it on Reddit because I saw this guy doing a handstand. Like someone just posted the GIF of Simon Stair, who's the guy doing this, doing the handstand, and I realized as I was watching it that I had a certain intuition. Like I could see him and say, "Oh, his base of support is defined by his hands, and he can't pull on the ground, so he can only push. So his center of mass must be within the base of support." I can see that because I've been trained in biomechanics, and I realized that it wouldn't be that hard to just draw on top of the image to make that scientific intuition like hopefully apparent to people from the outside. So I went home and I did it. It took me like 3 or 4 hours. Posted it the next day and like it was my first like viral post. And it like blew my mind. It was so cool to like have that many people like notice and care about something I had done. And so then I made a bunch more, and they got more and more advanced. Like this one used. Actually asked someone to like stabilize this image for me. This one I had to like stabilize because this was recorded with like like a friend recording like this, so I had to stabilize that. And it's also like it's much like one art enhancing, like holy shit. Um, and at the time I was clicking through every single frame for every single joint, just click 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 click, because at the time this was 2015 2016, like things like OpenPose were just coming out. OpenPose came out in 2017. Arguably, I've been working on this project since 2017 because I've been trying to like learn the computer science skills required to actually interact with these things. Not continuously working since 2017, though, but you know. But this kind of like visualization of data and kind of like just trying to put it in a way like the one above, right? Like I'm not explaining what's going on here. Like, and I can explain, and I will explain at some point what I am seeing in this. But I'm just trying to plot the data in a way that you will look at it and you will see something. You will gain some insight in something that you care about by watching this video, and that's what I'm trying to do here. Just make that and sort of like have that kind of, you know, non-hand-holdy sort of like discovery based, what Paulo Freire calls problem posing education, where I say, here's the thing. Oh, that's cool. Nice, Micon. That sounds cool. Okay. I'm going to try to look away from chat so I can talk about this because I keep getting distracted because you guys keep asking interesting questions. Cookie flips, that is very good information to have. $649 or whatever unit of money you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, and like, I feel like it should be as free as it can. Roadmap. Thank you, Trent. Maybe also tagging for later. I don't know. So let's think about the different people. I wish this was full of water. Different communities that have expressed interest in this software. The first one is going to be the one that I just, you know, human movement neuroscience human researchers. That's me. So that's basically, I want to use this tool to study humans. I want to study human movement and biomechanics and neuroscience, whatever. I'm going to go get water. Everyone, be entertaining in the chat. I'll be right back. Hello. Thank you, Micon. You didn't panic. You guys did a great job. Let me see. Were you? Yes. Ooh. I don't know what Nick is. That sounds cool. Oh, Red Lucas. Hello. Welcome. Okay. Roadmap. So think about so what I want to do here real quick is nickname. So I want to list out like communities of people who have expressed interest, and then sort of features that have been requested, and then sort of just like organically talk about those things. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Thanks, Nadi. Roadmap. Yes. So I think, so thinking about the communities of people who are interested and the features that have been requested, or those are kind of connected because different communities request different features, will help us to kind of figure out where to focus on. And then I don't really understand how open source software is developed, so all I can really, we're going to figure some of this stuff out. I got a Rococo suit, and I've used IMU suits, and You're catching the vibe, Blaine. Film community. See, more people. So, okay, human movement research neuroscience, human movement scientist. That's us. Okay. I'm not gonna look at chat. I will, but I'm gonna try to ignore your stuff. Yes, it is hot in that suit. So that's us. Another big one would be, I'll say just animators. Use. I'll come back to this. Wants and needs. So animators, so e.g. Video game designers, filmmakers, etc. Wants, needs, better data output. Good job, chat. Talking amongst yourselves. Because VR chat. So, okay. Animators. So this is kind of better data output, e.g. FBX. Blender, my 3ds Max integration, or at least compatible data output. Which that part's actually pretty far along. Structure from motion. Oh, okay, sorry, never mind. I was gonna bring Kitty in the screen, but she doesn't want to, so she'll come back. SFM is structure from motion, I'm guessing, which is a computer vision technique that is cool. Synchronization. Source filmmaker. FBX seems to be the one that people are requesting. But I think, part of this... Anyways, let's focus. Animators. And I'm gonna put... animation creators. I'm gonna put VR... And what are the people... Who are these? What's this? Who are these? What's the term? The people, the VTubers, the virtual YouTubers, the VTubers. Yeah. Apparently they're out there doing whatever they're doing. That's like, who is that? Code Miko does that. So like VTubers, VR, VTube. I don't even know what this community is, but they want something. So sure. So this is what they wants and needs is real time, or close to real time. Close to real time. Close to real time output. Game developers. Yeah, game developers. Right, real time. Fewer cameras actually works already. Single camera doesn't necessarily work. Hell yeah, live mocap for VTubing is a target. Sure. Yeah. There's an extent to, so like the facial tracking is commercial game devs know because license. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's why you got to be aggressive. Although, I mean, you could use the thing to get the data and then just don't incorporate it into the... Anyways, we can worry about that later. But that's part of that link to the article from the GNU Foundation, is the idea that like this is serving a community of people that are under like people that don't like no one's out there like making tools for like indie game developers, or everyone's out there trying to like make a buck. And you know I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher, I'm funded by my research and my science and whatnot, also my job. And so I just think that like if I just continue to make this tool as a scientific tool that supports my research goals, which are funded and fundable by National Institutes of Health, National Science Foundation, all these people that fund me as a scientist, that's all I want. Like, I don't want to try to like extort money from indie game developers. Like, I want to make tools that allow me to do my research, and if I can also make something that fills a need of a community of people, that's what I want to do. And I don't want to make I would like to make a living off of something that like supports me as a person, so I can be comfortable. But I'm really happy. I just like, I don't know. It makes me feel better to like be as aggressively open source as I can. And that way also, if you start all the way on the copyleft as hard as you can get, like if that ever becomes a problem for me, then I can always scale it back, but I can't necessarily scale it forward. So if Google comes to me and says, "Hey, we're gonna put $10 million into this project if you switch from AGPL to GPL," what do I say to that? I don't know what I say to that. If they say, "Well, buy it from you for $10 million," then I don't know. Then I say no to that. Well, I don't know. That's a hard. No, I don't know. That's a whole different question. But I feel like you want to start. If you walk in, if you put things as aggressively copyleft as you can, roadmap. Let's not talk about that. Anyways, roadmap. So yeah, VR, VTube. What else do people need? What are some other communities? There's clinicians. Let's put these here. E.g. my lab. Clinicians, biomechanists, etc. Use animators. Copyleft comes from that's GNU. Yeah. It's a whole vibe. Blender is under GNU, GPL v3. That's the kind of like the viral one that says you can do whatever you want with this software except for put it in a closed source software. Sports movement analysis. I'll put them. So it's kind of, so looking at this. I guess it's actually, okay, so it's kind of three groups, at least, that I'm imagining right now. Really two groups. Scientists and artists. Roboticists. I'd put them up here. So, actually, yeah. So let's talk about, I think that this makes sense to talk about. This has been helpful, I think, and what I'm kind of learning from this is there's kind of two groups. Scientists and robotics. So let's see. Two groups. Researchers, of which I would include scientists and clinicians and people who are doing stuff like that, and artists. That's your video game designers, and I would include, your VR, VTube, people who are doing it for like aesthetics, versus people who are trying to like analyze the data. Overlapping interests. So, that's interesting. And then sort of within those communities are sort of different needs. So let's talk about sort of, features that have been requested. One is better data output. FBX. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to focus on law enforcement though. And law enforcement, that's like a community that has JSON, yeah. And real time is definitely going to be on this list. JSON, etc. Difficulty easy. This is something we can do. We can do that pretty easily. Yeah, and actually, so there is another philosophical aspect of this project, which I'll mention briefly. This is really in my heart. Yeah, I've seen the gate tracking stuff. In my heart, a lot of this is also where I really wanted this to go is to be kind of an educational platform. C3D maybe. C3D I think has weird proprietary things, but I know that it's a standard. C3D if possible. They have C3D is like weirdly proprietary. Ah, real Chris Schnabel. Consider the neuroscientist return. Cool. Thank you, Chris. That is helpful. I'm gonna finish that thought, and then I'll look back to this. I want this tool to be both a useful tool for people, like track humans, use this new crazy AI computer vision technology to do motion capture for, free software and like low cost hardware. However, in addition to that, I would like to, and this is hard, I want to make the system in such a way that it is easy to use. You don't have to have a technical background to use it. The eventual person we're aiming for, the person I keep thinking about is like, usable by a 14-year-old with no technical training and no outside help. Someone can, 14-year-old kid finds this, gets a couple webcams, sets it up, and then immediately is looking at data that is the same data that I look at as a scientist. So it's easy to use. However, I also want it to be sort of like transparent so that the underlying mechanisms and the underlying technology is sort of like is visible for the person who's using it, but in a way that won't like scare you away if you're not familiar with that kind of stuff. Like if you're like, some people are just afraid of code, and if they see code, they freak out and walk away. People are afraid of math, people are afraid of numbers, people are afraid of hardware. And I want to make something that sort of gets those people into the equation, but then once you're in there and you're using the software, you will passively become more comfortable with these kinds of things. And so the reason why that sort of ties into the law enforcement thing is like, this technology is and will be and will continue to be used against you by law enforcement and government and whatnot, and like it'll be used to identify you. Facial recognition is a part of fascist governments already, and we need to understand, as people as a community as a whole would benefit from understanding how these technologies worked, both just to know about how the technology is advancing, and also to sort of be aware of how it might be used in practice in the world, because often these things are already being used and they're being used against your will. Your face is being scanned every time you post something to Facebook, every time you put something on Instagram. This technology is being used. TikTok, Snapchat, these face tilt filters, this is the technology that drives that, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that you don't understand it, because that's the business model. The business model of closed sourced AI tech is to it is to make sure that the users never understand the underlying mechanics, because if they did, then they could recreate it on their own. So I want to make something that both serves the needs of the people who are trying to track people, but also like secretly, implicitly, passively provides like education and training on the computer science, the hardware, the markerless motion capture, the AI machine learning. Documentation is so important. Anyway, let's get back to this. Okay. Easy C3D. Via Easy C3D. There you go. Tuesday, Gloomsday, true to your name. It does go both ways. And you kind of like, training people and giving people power, you run the risk of them using it in nefarious ways. But the way that I'm imagining this is it's already being used in nefarious ways. And so this is just a method, the more you open something up, the more people can have it. And the more, I believe that the majority of people are not nefarious. So if more people understand it, that's the more people that can defend themselves against it, or at least be aware of what's going on. Okay. Documentation, professional Unity plugin. Okay. Okay, documentation. We need documentation. Okay. Smoothing tools. EBFab? Ah. Mycon nailed it on hit the hit head. Nail head. Voice. Okay. Focus. Thank you. I'm just going to list sort of features that I'm imagining. This is kind of which sort of defines the roadmap. Features that have been requested. So better data output, real time, tracking, reconstruction, difficulty, medium, hard, reward, high, difficulty, medium, high. Difficulty, medium, hard, reward, high. Nailhead. Hit the nailhead. Multiple people have asked for a sort of pose recognition, categorization. People have asked for that. Someone asked for that on the GitHub. Reward. I'm not gonna list the reward. I think that should be pretty easy. Or gesture-based triggers. Yeah. Oh, hello, Dead Cat. That's a new name. GUI for the whole dang old thing. Yeah, you know. Grand GUI control. So just control the entire thing from a GUI. So instead of having to like run it from command line. Old Ron TC, king of vague errors. But really, documentation. Hint. Ask for help with documentation. Which of these align to my vision? So, real Chris Schnabel here asking the real questions. Documentation is the first one. Documentation of, documentation and tutorials. That's really what the focus needs to be on right now. A lot of these. Yes, I know you sent me something. We should. Yeah, +1 tutorials for sure. Basic use. That's basically that's really what it needs to be. That is something, and that's probably the thing that I personally need to be focusing on. Because right now it is exactly the thing that I'm trying. Symbol base plus plugin. I like VS Code a lot. I've been using VS Code for this, and like, yeah, and then simple, yeah. Anyways, Kiss in a Blender plugin, yeah. Slurp up data and put it in a Blender scene. This is actually almost done already. Demo version of FMC. I'm gonna leave that one. That one's for you, old Ron, because that'll demo version. I'll just put that up here. Demo version with sample data for God, what's your name? Robot, my robot friend. What's your name? Who's my robot friend? Glitch Robot. Robot Boy. Oh, there was a Robot Boy. That's right. No, I'm talking about Glitch Robot requested sample data so they could do a Plotly dashboard, which I think would be great. Those are there. Let's see. Anything else? And another thing people have requested is basically non-NVIDIA lower computational cost tracking, which for us, I think we already have MediaPipe kind of halfway implemented. Oh, depth cameras. Oh, I guess MediaPipe is NVIDIA. Dang it. Well, then I can't. I think it might just have to be NVIDIA, because you're right, because everything is CUDA. And then depth cameras would be a part of the thing. I think that's kind of... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Alice Vision. Oh, right. Charuco board free camera calibration. The documentation thing is key. Real Chris Schnabel. I'm going to go back. Careful, you're missing personas and use cases. Consider the hierarchy of what you're trying to address. I'm going to do that real quick, because I think hierarchy, hierarchy? Sure, yeah. Alice Vision. Rack points based calibration. Hierarchy. Is it with a higher? Is it I before E? Is this one of those many cases where the I before E rule fails miserably? Hierarchy. Yep. No, it's not. This is one of the cases where I before E is actually true. Hierarchy of user types. On the one hand, you have, I think, researchers on top. Scientists. Clinicians, hierarchies. Watch this. Neuro. And there's human and animal. Animal. Clinicians. Yeah. Well, there you go. I have for E. Yes. All of these things. Clinicians are your biomechs. I guess biomechanics is kind of. And then there's clinicians. I don't know what to say about clinicians. I'm gonna skip clinicians because I don't know how they live their lives. And when you start talking about clinicians, then you start dealing with like clinical trials. I don't want to deal with none of that. Industrial material handling ergonomists. I've been waiting my whole life to hear those words. Yeah, totally. Physical therapists. Okay, I'll just put this here. Physical therapists. And your who's it's in like sports biomechanics. Like trying to get your form right on that big lift kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. I can imagine. So like, here, imagine this. Like you have a shoulder surgery, and your range of motion is limited, and you want to know like, is it getting better? Like you can kind of feel it, but like it's good to see data. So like set this up, and every day go stand in front, lift your hands as far as you can. Bada bing, bada boom. Shoulder Town, USA. I don't know. Yeah, which I think and then they fire that person into the sun. Gotta elbow my way over to Shoulder Town. Woo! Shoulders. Weird things. Human shoulder is a weird joint, let me tell you. Okay, I think this covers kind of the general vibe. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of like when I'm hearing like that's kind of why I'm shying away from like clinical applications. Like I think they're there, but I think that like it gets into legal waters. I think so. Mostly this is going to be something like I make for myself, and then I like the idea of really target like on the scientist side of things. I'll make this for myself in my lab and my research, and then the ways that I solve the problems that I care about will also be the problems that a lot of other scientists care about. Because really, it's sort of like, this is a case where accuracy is much more important than speed. Things like dedicated calibration tools are pretty easy to come by. Data needs to be saved in a way that's like easy to analyze after the fact. You can run batch processing, things like that. And because I am a scientist and I do research of this type using tools like this, if I just make this tool work for myself, that will cover a lot of the bases. Yes. Actually, I've been working with someone, just in a professional capacity, who has like a sort of scoliosis, and she was commenting on. She's like, "Oh yeah, when I look at, like, I feel like I'm standing up straight, but then I looked at my data and I'm tilted, and it's like, oh, well, what do you know about that?" Go right about Alexa can live her life. I'm gonna put under researchers actually. I guess sports biomechanics would be that. I'll put that in there. I'll leave that in there. Basically, sports biomechanics and like sports. I'm gonna put sports biomechanics and training, and I'll include that. Roboticists. put them in there. Yeah, I'll put it's like coaches. That's sports biomechanics and training is sort of what I'm imagining there. So that's one community, hierarchically organized. Thank you, Chris. Another group would be the artists, which is an interesting distinction because both are interested in like accuracy, but I guess a big difference that I've noticed. So when I go out to record data, I'm expecting to record data like over and over and over again, and I need to have a way to like everything needs to be automated. Everything needs to be I need to be able to yikes. Once again, I feel like I actually did. I have sort of, because I always sort of think about these things. I did think about the kind of like the ethics of making a tool like this that can be used to track, and you can do any number of like tracking humans, like the whole George Orwell sort of literature section about things like that. And the reason why I feel okay doing it is that they're already going to do this. Like these tools are all available. Like they're all out there, and like your governments, your Amazons, anybody with tons of money, they can make something like this in a day. But they're not going to make it open. They're not going to try to give it to people to use. They're going to try to sell it, and they're going to try to, and once it's sold and it's behind the closed doors, they'll use it for whatever they want to use it for. So the big part of this project is getting these tools into the hands of the people who would usually be on the other side of the camera, right? The ones that, the other, that not Jeff Bezos, but the workers themselves. Kind of, again, sort of like it's already going to be used to track you. Like there's nothing we can do. If I shutter this project tomorrow, this will still be used to track in whatever you want. In worlds where in places that you don't have the option of doing that. So I feel like like deep fakes are already being used against people, and most people don't have any idea how they work. Facial recognition already being used. Oh God. Yikes. So again, just kind of like putting these tools in as many hands as possible, I feel like is the best defense I can think of against those kinds of, the fact that this technology will be used to control people. The only way that I can think of to give people defense against that is to teach them how it works and to put it in their hands. That's what I got. It's been a hell of a year. Okay. So researchers are people who want, high accuracy, batch processing, everything automated to extent possible. Artists also want high accuracy. Specialized equipment, etc. Okay. Artists also want high accuracy, but they're usually doing things kind of one-off. It's something I kind of like notice as like a difference. Is like you're crafting something, like, oh, I'm making one of these scenes, and so like you will go in and like hand to like, like first as a scientist, I am not allowed, like by ethics, to like go in and be like, oh, the hand is over here, it should be over here, I'm gonna move it over there because it looks better. I can't do that. That's like, ugh. Like makes you uncomfortable to even say it. Artists, of course they'll do that. You're making an animation, like you exaggerate the movement. Oh, the hand is over here, I'm gonna move it over here because it looks better. That's your artist, right? That's how you do that. There's actually a cool study of they did where they did literally that. It was like, maybe see if I can find it real quick. This is neural network school bus static. Yeah, that's the one. So what they did is they trained the network. I think it was on this school bus, and then they went through, and then for a given training. Mm-hmm. I agree. Thanks, Unfa. Unfa, are you? I just noticed that Unfa. I think I got a chat that's not in this Twitch. Is Unfa watching me on YouTube? Is that what's happening? Anyways, I also got to improve my Twitch stream. Anyways, what they did, they train the network to track things, and then they go through and they find a pixel in the image that they can manipulate that doesn't affect the score, and then they go through and they iterate until they can eventually make like white noise static that the network has 100% confidence is a school bus. Oh, hi, Unfa. Sorry that my current Streamlabs is not set up to make me notice. So if you've been talking a lot, then I'm sorry I missed you. But I am happy that I have added this chat overlay, so I did notice, even though you may have said other things that I didn't. I should start looking at that more. Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, and see, this is the thing. Like, I think people need to understand, because like also like everyone's like these is technology. Bye, Trent. Thank you. And yes, it is very gratifying to see the interest in this, and I'm excited for the future. Um, like the AI, machine learning, neural network, markerless motion capture, all this stuff. Like this is the high technology. This is like the forefront of like human exploration in a lot of ways, and I just think more people should have access to it, and both in terms of like being able to use it for whatever purposes they might have, but also like to understand it, to understand how it's actually working. And that's kind of, that's what we're working on here. Anyways, high accuracy manual manipulation of data, usually one-off creations essay, specialized equipment, less okay, because I'm just assuming, no offense to the animators in the room, I'm assuming that yeah, I've seen that, the license plate dress to confuse the ticket robots. I'm assuming that the artists are generally going to be working with like less resources, because our society doesn't value art. So within the artists, you have animators, which I'll put like filmmakers in that. Unfa at the moment, no. The current so this is kind of like, this is like the to borrow a term from Acer, this is kind of like minimum viable product right now. Like it works right now. It works on Windows PCs with NVIDIA graphics cards. Sorry, cookie flips. Heart. What was I saying? Yeah, but getting it to work on Linux and Mac and non-NVIDIA graphics cards is going to be a part of it. Oh, dangerous. Dangerous. Raw links. I trust you, Mycon. There you go. I actually, smarter would have been to move this off camera, but I trust you. Little Bobby Tables. God bless him. But Ufa, we're working in that direction, and getting stuff more broadly open is sort of part of the roadmap. Let's put that here. um, support for OS X Linux and support for non-NVIDIA GPUs. I remember you were the one who told me that. Yeah. Yeah, NVIDIA have really managed to corner the market on GPU processing with CUDA, and they really snagged it. I feel like I appreciate you. What was I gonna say? That's going to be a matter of finding just versions of these tracking softwares that don't require that kind of hardware acceleration, or making versions that are not GPU accelerated, which will be much slower. But maybe you don't care about that. Unity support currently no, but in the books for sure. Unity support. Okay, artists, animators, and filmmakers. These people making kind of like, like making like like a movie, right? Like linear time, start to finish. I'm sitting down and I'm watching. Someone who is it popped up? Someone in the chat mentioned being a film person, which is cool. So animators and filmmakers. Video game designers. These are people who are making little like looping animations or whatever it is, whatever it is y'all want. I don't know. Animators, filmmakers, video game designers, performers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the data output is a part of it. Like, yeah. Yeah. So the data is currently animators, performers. These are your dancers and your circus performers, people who want to be able to record themselves doing cool stuff and make like presentations about it. So the jugglers, yeah, sure. This is such a I'm aware of how ridiculous this is. It's just kind of like it's like shock and awe. Cookie flips. The current version of the software tracks is set up to track only one person, and that's a parameter that's set for OpenPose. Yeah, I'm gonna so your content creators, I would sort of they're gonna be probably somewhere around here. Anyway, site swap is no joke. You never know who's on the stream. So actually, and I'm working with some researchers who are trying to do they're developmental neuroscientists. They study child-parent interactions. Gumrar. Currently, it needs to be a Windows PC with an NVIDIA graphics card and enough USB ports to attach your cameras to. But I think I had to respond to that one quickly because that was a YouTube comment and those disappear. So but Cookie Flips, so the people I'm working with, they need multi-person support. So we're working with them to do that. The current version only tracks one person, but it does it in a relatively unintelligent way. OpenPose will report. I call them baby researchers because it's funny to me. But it is actually an interesting case because you can't make, like, babies don't like to wear motion capture. They'll pull the markers off. So like markerless motion capture is actually really good. It's like, this is a good, they need something like this. Um, Mycon, yes, you will. That's actually that's the deep lab cut component of this. Is that's the sort of build your own training tracking thing. That's how I'm tracking the juggling ball and the wobble board. Is it's a trained deep lab cut network, and so that kind of connects to deep lab cut. Uh, it is for the babies. It's babies. It's also like, for me, like thinking forward, and thinking about this as like a multi-year research project, it's important for me to secure funding for it. So making this, so continuing to build this out as a scientific tool that serves the need of multiple scientific communities is a way that I can sort of develop it and create basically like a research proposal to someone like the NIH or the NSF to get money to support myself and my lab to continue development on this. So that's why it's important to be working with other researchers and stuff like that, because like the NIH has a lot of money. That's how I'm currently funded, and so making sure that this is a tool that has like relevance to those research communities is a way to continue to get support for it. I will add a donate button. The Blender model, basically, but it's not there yet. Both because I don't feel like I'm gonna put. I currently have funding, and I don't want to ask people for donations until the second thing happens, which is I am going to be forming some form of like administrative, like nonprofit kind of body to manage this project. Because right now, if there was a donate button, it would just go straight into my pocket, and I'm not comfortable doing that. So I want to make sure that there's some sort of structure, so that if money is donated, that it goes to a place that people can like be aware of. And I think using it to support, like I would just like to honestly like to like send people like cameras and stuff like that. Yeah, sort of Tuesday Gloomsday. Boom! 17 viewers. Hottest Albert's here. Windows is common. Windows is mostly me being lazy. Although actually the OpenPose is Windows only. OpenPose demo version that I'm using is Windows only. But I'm kind of just working on whichever one, like, is just I use Windows because I'm lazy. I also use Mac and Linux to some extent, but I started using Windows just because it's the easiest one to use for me. But yeah, getting a kind of like hardware and graphics cards and like sort of figuring out the actual hardware needs is definitely important. I appreciate you, Chris. I appreciate that you are what's the word? Calling out the important bits. I think I'll put that on the to-do list of system hardware use sort of which was it? It's true. I remember the 1 to 2 viewer days. They're good days, and I appreciate them's what's been here for the lean times. They were lean by design. I was intentionally sort of like not advertising, but also like I appreciate the people who have been interested in this for a long time, for sure. It's the juggling. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. Pupil Labs. Hell yeah. Nah. For laser skeletons. Clown paint always. Clown paint always. Anyways, system hardware sort of, stats for different user groups. And speaking of which, some method for processing data from underpowered maybe via Google Colab or offline processing. I was actually I have been, because I don't know, the question of like how to fool facial recognition is an interesting one. I was on TikTok the other day, and there was like this young person who was trying to break the facial recognition. Like it was like putting a filter on her face, and she was trying to break it. Skeletons, no. That misspelling of skeleton is dear to my heart. But so she was like putting makeup on her face, trying to get the thing to break, and she was, all right. And what was interesting to me watching her was that it was, first of all, I love it, love. She was like, put something on, test it. Oh, it still works. Put something on, test it. She was trying to get it to break, but what she was doing it in a way that was the wrong strategy. All the things she was putting on her face was emphasizing her eyes and her nose and her mouth. She was like putting stuff around it, and she was trying, like, which was an indication for me that her head was in the right place, her aspirations were good, but her intuitions of the underlying mechanism were not appropriate for the actual technology that was being used. So I was actually kind of thinking, I kind of want to start making TikToks about this just for fun, and also because I think that the format of 1 minute informative videos is good, and I think that this in particular, this software, it's eye mouth is mostly what it's looking for, like 2 dark patches and a dark patch, dark patch, dark patch. That's mostly what it's using. It also does a little bit with the nose, but it's mostly eye mouth. So things that break up that, so like big black splotches on asymmetric black splotches will work. Things that like lines that cut across an eye. Just Google, like, there's like, you'll see like there's like glitch sort of makeup that people do. Yeah, this is less of a good, but it's like, enforcing asymmetry, things like that. Actually, I already do have it. My TikTok is just John Mathis now. I think I changed the name. I can't remember. It was something else, and I think I changed it to John Mathis. TikTok is rad. I actually love TikTok. People give it a lot of shit, and you know why people give it a lot of shit? Because everybody hates young people. That's one of the most unavoidable aspect of history, is people always shit on whatever young people are doing, especially young women. Good night, Cookie Flips. Thanks for sticking around. Ooh. Godot. Oh, I've heard of Godot. I'll check it out. But yeah, I think people hate on TikTok because young people use it and women use it to show their bodies. That's why people hate it. And I think it has problems, because my main problem with TikTok is that it's controlled with a closed source algorithm. So you don't know why things are being fed to you. You don't know why. We'll get to real time eventually, Yunfa. We'll get there. But I think that the TikTok model of like an individual person makes a video and sends it out, and like it feels very personal. And I think that like the educational content that I see on it's designed for that. Like the person to person connections that it fosters, I think, are really amazing. It can be toxic and like draining, because it's sort of like, it's like trying to like I know there are certain personality types that don't interact well. It's because it's kind of like gambling. It's like you make the videos like, is this one gonna blow up? And I think that can be toxic and draining. But I do think that as like a mechanism of like human communication, it's actually the model of uh, algorithmically sorted, yeah, like short form DIY videos is good. And I think that also, like, TikTok is where the young people are. And so if you want to interact with, if you want to like build the better future, like go to where young people are and speak to them directly. Like, so I think that I like TikTok. I do. And I don't apologize for it. Even though I probably did earlier. Hello, fellow kids. Oh my God, I'm so hello, fellow kids. I feel, I don't know how to avoid it. It's just kind of who I am. It's okay. I'm literally talking about going to a skate park. It's okay. I don't mind. I like the youths. Actually, the kids are all right. The kids have a rough time and they need help. And I feel like it's the job of people in their middle 30s to like help people in their teens and 20s. Like all of the radiation in my life. I'm a assistant professor, tenure track. Everything in my life is telling me to focus all of my energy doing songs and dances for the gatekeeping dinosaurs above me on the hierarchy to beg them to let me stay. And I just think I think it's immoral. And I think that I'm in a position of social power and I should be using all my resources to support people at my level and uplift and support people below me. And that means, making things for people that don't have resources. That means sending, communicating with, with the youths. Dinosaurs do love gates in music. There's whole other conversation. Okay. It is 4:00. I am approaching mental saturation. And I feel pretty good about this sort of, it's a little disjointed, but it's got a lot of things on paper. I will share that. I'll make a Google Doc or something for this, and share it on the Discord server. I will share a link to the Discord server. Copy. This is the Discord server. For those of you on YouTube, I don't know how to send that to you. Slide Drum, hello. Coming in hot right here at the end. Thank you for presumably lurking and joining at the end. Oh, cool. Well, welcome to this place. Peace. And unlike this is the first time in a long time I have enough people to raid. So whom will I raid you to? To whom shall I raid? Oh, how does this compare to mocap for all? I don't know. I think they're closed source. Someone's mentioned them. Mocap for all. It's a paid software. Okay, yeah. So that's how it compares. This is a free open source software. So there you go. Easy answer. My general strategy, because there's people out there doing stuff, left and right about this, in this space, I guess I'd say. And my general strategy is, if they are closed source, I ignore them. If they are open source, I join forces with them. I was actually building my own camera calibration toolbox, and then AnyPose came along, and I was like, hey, that's better than mine. I'm going to use yours. And the fact that I had made half of my own made it really easy to integrate with them. And also, like, I see places where I can improve what they're doing. Deep Lab Cut, similar vibe. Media Pipe came out, and I was like, all these things are coming out. They're open source. And I'm like, great, join the party. And then your mocap for all, like, God bless them, I'm sure they're doing good stuff, but they're closed source, so good luck. I'm not trying to compete with anyone on anything with this. I'm just trying to make a free open tool, and if someone comes along First of all, what I've learned in my sort of life as a researcher is it's actually really rare for things to overlap completely. Even though we feel like everything's been done under the sun, uh, individuals are still individuals, and even you might find stuff that sort of overlaps a little bit or a lot, but usually no one's doing exactly what you're doing. So that means there's always space to continue. And if so, when you discover things that are sort of close to or relevant to what you're working on, you don't need to compete with them. You can just collaborate with them and do so in a way that allows both parties to maintain their own identity. That's kind of, I feel like, the relationship I want to foster with Deep Lab Cut, because they're also kind of speaking to the scientific community in a similar way that I am with this. I'm kind of pitching to the broader population here, which is part of why I'm separated. But thank you. And again, this is part of that. I'll comment in a second, Albert. Uh, uh, this, what is it? Oh, new open source. That's again part of this vibe gotten here. Is the idea that that's kind of like, when you work in the sort of free software copyleft kind of space, you have an advantage that closed source capitalistically minded softwares don't have, and that is the ability to instantly and immediately collaborate with other people in ways that benefits both and doesn't detract from either. And that's why they sort of push for people to use GPL and GPL like non-permissive licenses. Is if you are working in the open source space, you have the advantage of being able to work freely with other open source researchers. Closed source softwares don't have that advantage. Closed source software have other advantages, meaning they can sell their work and they can do capitalist stuff and get a lot of money. So the question that they ask is, why would you give up the only advantage that you have by writing your software in a license that both groups can use? And that struck a chord with me. So AGPL it is. What are they talking about? I can't remember. Money. I get research money. NIH pays me to do my work, so I don't. And the NSF, I think the NSF will really like this project. I've never applied for a big grant from the NSF, but I think they'll like it. So I feel like if I can get federal research money to support my research while making a tool that benefits all of these communities, God, how cool was that? Albert, OpenPose is, yes, very hard to use. This software is arguably close to use. The main thing I've gotten from this conversation, and this is largely spawned by real Chris Schnabel? Yeah. The documentation and tutorials are the biggest thing that's missing from this, and that's also the thing that I am best suited to do. I need to be making tutorials on how to use this, because Albert, based on what I've already seen from your end, you have everything you need to use this software. I think. Do you have a Churuko board? Yeah, and it's yeah, we need to that's something that needs to happen. Chessboard only, okay. Which might work. The problem with the chessboard is it gets orientation problems, but there might be a way to set this up in the fullness of time. Okay, who am I going to throw you at? Who is a good streamer to throw you at? Oh, bother. I like Oh, bother. Oh, ads. Let's throw you at Oh, bother. Yeah. Real-time support for VR is very much on the roadmap. It's a challenge, as you might expect, but it is something that is, I think, a core thing Oh, look at that. Cool thermal camera. We definitely are working towards that. It will require a bit of a different sort of structure of the code because right now it's sort of focused on the easy case of during runtime of the actual recording, the only thing we're really doing is trying to ensure that we're recording in a way that can be synchronized and reconstructed after the fact. To do real-time reconstruction, you have to be pulling frames, and it is very much planned. Yes, it's basically it's going to require a little bit of restructuring and like a little bit more advanced coding for like, sort of like threaded asynchronous processing, but I actually think all the tools are kind of on the table. It's just a matter of putting them together in the right way, and making this thing real time is it's a lofty goal, but it's one that I think we can achieve. So thanks for the question. Yeah, I am going to raid y'all over. I think I do. It's like /raid. Yes, /raid. Oh bother. And if you guys don't know him, he's got a cool, like, just a really cool like hacker tech workshop vibe that I really appreciate. And Kamran, what's up, Kamran? How you been? Pupil Labs integration is on the table. So like head-mounted cameras, like integrating head-mounted cameras into the equation is very much on the roadmap. I mean, for God's sake, I'm doing juggling here. I'm going to put an eye tracker on there. That's actually probably pretty close to the roadmap. That's largely the only reason why I haven't done it yet is that I've been working on other stuff. But yes, indeed, that is on that Pupil Labs integration is forthcoming. Another sort of free open source scientific software that has been, what's the word? Inspirational and aspirational. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Kamran. Hope you're doing well. Okay, I am going to raid y'all over to Oh Bother. So say hello, and I will, I'll be back next week. Thank you. Thanks to all the new followers. Thanks for the folks who are interested in this project. Go pop on the Discord, and I will see you all next week, next Thursday. Fun 3D. Blender add-on also coming in soon. I am running off to the woods tomorrow, so I will not be present digitally, but I'll be back next week, and more to come. Bye, everybody. And wait, does that go? Oh, there they go. Bye. Oh, and there they go. Raid. Bye.
We're putting back together Octajay's tablets, family tablets. So I'm going through kind of a memory game. John Mathis raiding with a party of 15. How's everybody doing? I'm kind of ponderous right now. I've got 2 tablets that I'm putting back together. Putting back together 2 tablets, and the thing is, I took them apart, and then we discovered that we needed a bunch of parts. We need a bunch of parts. Like, for instance, I wasn't about to sit here and peel the screen off of this entire bevel and then get rid of all the sticky stuff on the end, because if I
don't know if
tried
I'm
as
still
hard
being
as I
recorded.
could, the new screen would stick out. Red Lucox, thank you for following. So instead of that, Octajay bought a new screen, mercifully bought a new screen with a little bevel already on it, and we transfer parts over to it. The other one was a USB slot. The USB slot on this tablet, the little plastic insert that typically, USB-C, you have your outer layer, and then you have like a plastic insert, and that plastic insert is what makes all the connections. And so if your USB-C becomes loose like that, then the plastic piece inside can move around, and those pins that go directly to the circuit board are on that part. So what they do is they flex at the end of the pin.